Ramp up your swings with the Head Speed MP 2022. Head continues to evolve the Mid Plus model, but stays focused on feel and controllable power. New to this model is the exotic construction in the yoke for optimal feedback. Adding to that feel is the racket's straight beam and sub 65 RA. It also offers a quick swing and open 16x19 string pattern to let players ramp up modern power and spin. I've tested a couple previous iterations of the Speed MP, and I have to say this version I gelled with right away. With previous versions, I felt like there was a bit of an adjustment period for me with the greater launch angle that I'm typically used to. However, I had no issues with my depth controls when I started playing right from the baseline. I was enjoying easy access to spin with a quick swing. But what I thought was really nice about this racket is that I also had really good touch. So I was also trying to throw in a Chris Edwards type drop shot now and then and following it up with a lob, because I did feel like I had good control of both my depth and touch. As I move forward to net, again, I really liked the speed of this racket as well as the comfort factor. I felt like I was getting good depth on my volleys without too much effort. As I was starting points on serve, I liked the easy access to power. I wasn't getting quite the easy access to spin as I was from the baseline, but that really comes down to more my technique than anything. And on returns, I know in previous versions I had mentioned that I struggled with depth control, but I really didn't have that issue with this racket. So far, the Head Speed MP, this 2022 version, is my favorite to date.
There are a lot of similarities between this racket and the previous version. They both feature a really nice responsive feel, but yet it doesn't feel too firm or harsh on my arm. And I felt like the power level and the control was very similar as well. On my ground strokes, I felt like this was just a really easy racket to get power and spin and depth with. It does have a little bit higher launch angle, which I appreciated to get easier depth. And it's just, I felt like a really good racket overall. But I did feel like in this update that the maneuverability was improved over the previous version. I felt like it was easier to swing, which is something I appreciated, and it just helped me find sharper angles and get more spin on my shots. If you're like me and you love the previous version, but you wanted something just a little bit more maneuverable, then you're gonna love this update. We're now gonna head over to our playtesting group in Atlanta. Andrew, what are your thoughts of this racket?
Thanks, Jason. One thing I want to mention right away is how much I've been enjoying the auxetic technology on Head's rackets for this generation. From all the ones I've tested, it just has a kind of undescribable feel. It's very comfortable, but it still has a really crisp response as well, which is something that I've been searching for and haven't really found a ton in a lot of rackets recently. The way that transitions into the Speed MP is it has a low RA at 62, which is not something you see in a lot of these sort of modern rackets. But as far as playability goes, I had a great play test with this. I found it has really good power, and it has that control when you want to dial it in. I would say probably has a little bit more control than a lot of the other modern rackets out there right now. And if you're in that range of like 3.5 to 4.5, this is going to be one that you have to check out. It just plays incredibly well from all aspects of the court. I would say for ground strokes, I enjoyed being able to take big cuts at the ball. I could trust that they would keep the ball in play. My only issue would be when I was in tough situations and maybe hit the ball a little bit late. The open pattern did launch the ball a little bit, but again, that's mostly user error and not the issue of the racket itself. Great spin potential on this one. You can take full cuts, easy to snap through with that maneuverability. So overall, from the baseline, this is just kind of a dream racket for me, and I had a great time using it. Going into serves, that's another area I can struggle with as well, but this was very quick to snap through, had great spin potential, so I had no issues dialing it in, and it still had that control as well that I'm looking for out of a more modern racket. Overall, like I said before, 3.5, 4.5, I think you're really going to enjoy this. If you're a little higher than that, you got some customization opportunities here. So really, this is just a great racket for kind of that all skill level range. And honestly, I'm considering switching to this one myself, so you may see this one in my hands more often.
I've played with several iterations of the Speed MP, and I would have to put this one as my favorite to date. Compared to the last model, they've lowered the swing weight a bit with this update. That just gave it that added maneuverability from around the court, and that without sacrificing much of that plow and stability that I found much improved with that last model. So for me, that offered just a really nice blend of characteristics. It led to a really nice, smooth feeling out of the sweet spot. So I really enjoyed playing with this racket from the baseline. Another highlight for me was just how much spin I could tap into. I felt it was super easy to load up the balls with a lot of top spin, really easy to drive some nice slices low over the net, and it had a pretty lively response out of the string bed, so that made it really easy to hit the balls deep. However, that one area that could trip me up at times, especially if my timing was just a little bit off, it wasn't going to be super forgiving in that nature, especially if I was hitting those balls a little bit higher in the hoop, it could get a little bit launchy on me. However, utilizing that spin potential really allowed me to dial in consistency and control. So the more I played with this, the more I was able to adapt to the playability and really get my ground strokes dialed. Up at net, again, that's feeling out the sweet spot. It was just super smooth, easy to punch those volleys deep, really easy to get the racket into position in time, so no issues there. Moving over to serves, I found I was hitting serves a bit long at first, but again, it just went back to spin for me. Once I focused on hitting my serves with a lot of spin, I was able to pick my spots, and I found the balls were moving with nice pace out of the string bed, so got myself better dialed in there. So overall, I really enjoyed this update. The racket continued to excel in the areas that I enjoyed with the previous model with just even better maneuverability. For this review, we strung up the Headspeed MP with Headlinks Tour and Headlinks Touch at around 52 pounds. For more information on this racket or others, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.